Hi.
Hi, it's Claire, right?
Yeah, Claire Barton.
Nice to meet you. I'm Heather.
Hi.
Heather Sullivan. Go ahead and have a seat.
All right.
So did you find this place okay? I hear it's kind of hard to find sometimes.
Yeah, no, it wasn't too hard. I had to like loop a couple times because there was like a couple lights, but it was fine.
Okay, great. What about that hurricane?
I was hearing about that on the news. It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yes, it is. Do you have any family on the East Coast?
No, but my kids are close enough with me in the house and stuff. Like, it's close enough that I'm worried that you know, whatever. But yeah.
Oh, you have kids?
Yeah. I got two.
Oh, and they live close by here?
They live with me. They're
They live with you, okay.
4 and 6.
All right. Okay. Well, good to know that your family's safe.
Yeah.
I don't have any family on the East Coast either, but it's terrible, the damage that's been done.
Yeah.
So before we get started, I just want to let you know something. So everything that you say in here stays in here. Everything you say is confidential. The only time I will ever be able to repeat anything that you say is if you tell me that you're going to kill someone or that you're going to kill yourself. Or if you indicate to me that a child has been abused or someone, the elderly, has been abused.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So everything you say in here stays in here, and I want you to feel completely comfortable.
Okay.
And so if you have any questions throughout this process, you can ask me. This is an open communication between us.
All right.
All right? So tell me a little bit about what brought you here.
I've just been really, really anxious lately, like just anxiety-ridden all the time. Just thinking about stuff in my life and just so much stress with my family, and my husband just doesn't really seem to care, so that.
Your husband doesn't care about the family stress.
My stress, because it's not necessarily the entire family, it's
Okay.
just I'm stressed out all the time and it doesn't seem to matter.
It doesn't seem to matter to your husband.
No, not at all.
And the kids, does it seem to matter to the kids?
They don't seem to notice necessarily. They're like, we do stuff all the time. Like, they're busy with extracurriculars in school and stuff, so like they don't really notice, I don't think. But
Well, it sounds like you have a lot on your hands.
yeah, like, because he takes care of taking them places and stuff. And I like we share the responsibilities. It's just like I'll be freaking out about something or be stressed that something's gonna happen to him, and he won't. He'll call me crazy, or that I'm overreacting.
Wow, that's pretty invalidating to have your husband tell you that you're crazy.
Yes, exactly. It's so frustrating because I don't think so. I think it's normal.
Right. Well, it is pretty normal to be worried about your husband
Yeah.
and make sure that want to know that he's safe.
Yeah, well, yeah, my kids too. Like, I worry that something's gonna happen to my kids all the time, and he doesn't seem to like worry either, which makes me think that he doesn't care about the kids, and that's frustrating because like I thought we were gonna have a good family and it was gonna be easy to have somebody that took care of the kids as well, but apparently not. So
I can see how that would be very frustrating.
yeah,
So what does your husband do?
construction.
Construction.
Yeah, and he's high level, so he doesn't have to work the like night shifts or anything. So I do get to see him. I know, like before it was I never got to see him, and that was frustrating. But the struggles that come with that in marriage. But we got over it, and we worked through it. And then he got better shifts. He got to be a higher rank and stuff like that. And then he's pretty high level, so now he gets to kind of choose his own hours and
Oh, that's really nice.
more managerial. So yeah.
Yeah. You said he takes care of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Yeah.
you mean by that?
Well, if I'm busy with other things, 'cause I'm a stay-at-home mom,
Okay.
I'll take care of them a lot of the time. But he'll take them to their practices and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's getting like worse about it because he used to be like really involved, and now he's becoming less and less. And like, he just got a diagnosis recently about his heart and some problems with that, and I think he's using it as an excuse to kind of get out of doing stuff, which adds to frustration. But it's also it's important, and he might get laid off of his job soon because of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's very stressful to
Mhm.
have all these worries about your husband and your kids, and now an added worry that he's going to lose his job.
Yeah. Like, it's because he's starting to just kind of not do anything around the house either, and then there's a lot of expectation on me to clean and stuff. But I care about him. I don't want him to have like a heart attack or anything, because he's had a heart attack before. So I don't want him to have it again, because his heart's pretty fragile right now. It's not working right.
Right.
So like I don't want him to be like, I don't want to like nag him to clean out the gutters or something and just have him fall off the ladder because it was too much work. So I have to do the gutters. I have to do the work around the house and take care of the kids and stuff. And then he's not really, like, he might not be making an income soon.
So you're a little conflicted, and you understand his physical ailments, but you also would like some help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the kids are too young. They can't necessarily help around the house. And I also have to, like, corral them. And he's just watching TV. And I'm trying to, like, set up rules and stuff to help, you know, raise well-rounded children. And he doesn't enforce them. So the kids don't listen.
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
Kids with behavioral issues, but they're not too bad, are they?
No, not necessarily. It's just normal kid stuff. Like, one will hit
Right.
the other, and I'll be like, you can't hit your brother. You have to go to timeout. And they're like, I don't want to. And I'm like, George. And he's like, leave the kids alone. They're just kids. They're just doing their thing. Let her be herself.
Okay. Well, that is frustrating.
Yeah.
How old are your kids?
4 and 6.
4 and 6?
Mm.
And they're a boy and a girl, or?
Yeah, older boy,
Okay.
younger girl.
Nice.
Yeah, they're really sweet. But, like, and it's just normal kid stuff. Like, I'm not saying that they're, like, burning down the house or anything, but
Right.
it's just stuff that they do, and I'm trying to, like, set up sleep schedules and stuff like that, and then he's like, oh, they don't have to go to bed now. Oh, it doesn't matter. And sleep is important. It's important for kids, and when they don't sleep, they get cranky, and I have to deal with it because he's just watching TV or at work and not helping so much. And, like, I guess it is dwindling a lot more than I thought it was, him not helping out.
It's important for you to for your kids to have a routine.
Yeah, it's really important, because I had a routine when I was younger, and I think it made me well developed. And yeah, my parents were pretty strict, so, you know, I'm trying to be a good parent for my kids, and my husband isn't helping or anything.
Well, it must be pretty hard on your husband to have been diagnosed with this heart issue, and
Yeah, probably. I hadn't thought of that. Like, yeah, I guess so. It seems like, I guess I've just been thinking that he's enjoying it, because he doesn't have to do anything anymore. Like, he doesn't have to be a participant in the family or anything, and so yeah, I guess it might be pretty stressful for him too.
well, it sounds like it's stressful for the whole family.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if the kids noticed. We haven't told them about that, so he's just kind of in the house more than he used to be. Just kind of around, but
Does this anxiety you mentioned in the beginning of the session, is this all surrounding your husband's diagnosis?
no, I had it before. Like, basically,
Okay.
pretty much when we had kids,
Okay.
it kind of started. It's just that's added to the anxiety.
And so how many years ago would that make the onset of the anxiety?
It's hard to say. Probably 6 or so, but like, I've always been anxious. It just got exacerbated by
Having kids.
having kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always been anxious, and I've always, you know.
Is there anxiety about a particular thing?
Oh, I'm afraid that my kids are gonna die, which I don't think is insane. It is something that everybody worries about. I don't want anything bad to happen to my kids, and it seems like when I don't do certain things, bad things happen to them. So I want to make sure they're okay.
So to make sure your kids are okay, you do certain things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why my husband acts like it's crazy and like makes fun of me for it, and that hurts.
Yeah.
So that just makes me like more anxious and more angry at him.
And the kids, do they feel like what you do, the things that you do to keep them safe, do they indicate that they feel that this is crazy?
I don't think they really notice.
Okay.
I don't think they're really like aware so much of it, so they could be. I don't know. They don't really say anything.
Tell me about these things you do to keep your kids safe.
I count.
Okay.
Like when I go to the grocery store and stuff, I can't take the first or the second of any object, of any like store food or anything if it's in a row. Because if I take the first one, something bad will happen to my first child. If I take the second one, you know, and it's happened. I've had like, I've taken the first box because, you know, that's the only one, and then something bad happened to my boy, and he like scraped up his knee or something like that a couple days later. So it's happened. And then my husband acts like I'm insane, but I also can't, because they're 4 and 6. I can't take the 4th or the 6th kind of thing. And sometimes if there's only 1 or 2, I'll just skip it. I'll just not get the groceries or whatever, and it's other things too, but grocery store is the most prevalent because I gotta go do some shopping. Right. But yeah, so stuff like that.
So these things protect your kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a little silly, but it works. It's happened. I've had it clearly, like I've told you, like if I take the second one, you know, my daughter fell and hit her head. And so I'm a bad mother if I don't try and protect them every way I can, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
it's natural to protect your kids.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd be a bad mom if I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just take the first box and have everything bad happen to my firstborn. Like, it's not. Cereal's not worth my child, you know. So
these bad things that happen, how many days or hours? Is it a specific amount of time that these bad things happen after you don't?
No, counting? No. It's not that specific. It's just something bad will happen. And I know that. I know something bad's going to happen to them. So I just in case. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it does. Like, inevitably something happens when I don't do what I'm supposed to.
Do bad things happen even though you do what you're supposed to do?
I don't think so. Not as often.
Okay.
I don't think. No. Like, I'm pretty sure like there's the connection and stuff. It's possible. Like, it does. Like, things happen and stuff, but not as bad. Like, it's never as bad. So.
Does this only apply to your kids, or is this why you're worried about your husband too?
It only applies to the kids.
Okay.
Because my husband doesn't, like, he didn't used to need taken care of. But I take care of him too when he's home now. Like, because he'll be like, oh, I can't go and get beer or chips from the fridge. Can you grab them for me? Because my heart. So I go and get him those things. But it's not like I have to get the second bag of chips or anything. Like, I'm just taking care of him. It doesn't happen to him.
Okay. All right. Well, you said that he has had prior heart problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long ago was that diagnosed?
It was actually, he had the heart attack right before he got diagnosed. So he had some pain in his chest and stuff, and he told his coworker about it, thank God. And they went to the hospital, and it was a mild heart attack. And they diagnosed him and figured out that his heart was weak, essentially. And so he's getting medication, and they're working through that, and he's seeing doctors, which might be extra financial strain on us since he might get laid off soon, since he can't really do labor-intensive stuff. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't know if I can work or anything. Especially if he's not going to be able to like get off the sofa to take care of the kids and bring them to school and stuff. So, yeah. When he was younger, I think like before we were married and stuff, he had some medical issues, but it wasn't really prevalent to heart stuff. So I don't know if they're connected.
What were the medical issues?
Just like gastrointestinal kind of thing. He wasn't on a healthy diet, and he was drinking too much. So.
Well, you mentioned getting up and getting him a beer on the couch.
Yeah, like like he'll say that it'll like strain too much, so he'll ask me to do it. So I'll go and get him whatever, beer, soda,
Okay.
general things.
So it's not just beer.
No. He's not. He doesn't have a drinking problem or anything.
Okay.
He's just kind of, you know, a guy.
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to something that you said a few minutes ago. This anxiety that you've always had.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like I mean, you said it's been present all of your life, and it sounds like that would be a difficult life
Yeah.
to constantly be so on edge.
Yeah. Cause like even when I was a kid, I remember being anxious all the time. But like my parents were always like stress ridden.
Oh.
They were always pretty tense about everything, and they were like standoffish.
Mm.
And like they loved each other, I'm sure, and but I never really saw them be affectionate with each other, and I don't know, because I'm like that with my husband. I don't really like, and since I'm getting more and more annoyed about his whole heart thing, I'm not. Whenever he tries to be affectionate or whatever, I kind of pull away. I'm feeling more annoyed than anything, and I don't want to be close to him. But I think my parents kind of stayed together for us, for me and my siblings. So, but they were really strict. Like I said before, they were pretty strict, and
For parents who are that anxious and stressful, I mean, it would be hard not to be uptight as well.
yeah, I think that's a good point. And like, I'm not gonna say it was bad, because I mean I learned. I'm a pretty well-rounded person. Like I'm, you know, so I don't know if it was necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, it was interesting, because it was an Italian family, so it was a lot of like properness, and we were raised pretty strictly Catholic.
Okay.
So that caused a lot of anxiety for me, especially around First Communion.
Yeah.
That was pretty stressful, because they told me I couldn't lie at all to the priest. I've been in this house so long. I've been like, I just think preacher. I don't remember anymore. Like I'm starting to lose my faith in the religion now. But it's just we couldn't lie to the priest at all, and we had to like tell them all of our sins and just totally out ourselves, and then we take communion, and then we're saved, and whatnot. And I didn't tell him. And it's so silly. I didn't tell him because I had taken a picture book from my school, and I was like 8. But I had taken a picture book from my school, and I felt so guilty about it, and I didn't tell him that, and I'm still a little bit convinced that I'm going to go to hell for it, because I didn't tell him everything. So that's a lot of anxiety. That's a lot of stress on me. That it's just kind of like, no matter what I do, no matter how good of a person I am or how much I take care of my kids, I'm not going to be able to be in heaven with them or whatever. I'm still going to hell. So
That's a lot of pressure to put on an 8-year-old girl.
Yeah. No, I had never told anybody about the picture book. So yeah, that was But yeah, and I'm kind of losing my faith, because the Catholic Church is kind of moving away from their old things, and I don't like where they're going. So that's bothering me, and I'm just kind of done with it, because it's what I've always known, and now that they're changing, it's like, well, it doesn't matter then. So I'm just, so I guess I don't feel like I don't feel like I have foundation anymore, because everything's changing.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of change. Your husband's been diagnosed with a heart problem. Your kids, you don't have help with your kids.
Yeah.
You have to constantly try to protect them from danger by counting, and now your foundation of faith is changing.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You're smiling.
I'm so anxious. It's just so much all at once, and I'm just so nervous. And like, I guess I feel like I have to like try and make it okay, because I don't want you to worry about me. It's not like I'm freaking out. I'm not gonna kill myself, obviously, so I don't want you to like freak out that that's gonna happen. But I'm just like, I always have to take care of everybody.
Right. It's a pretty lonely business.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel non-rewarding.
I'm going to go back to something you mentioned earlier. You said you have 2 siblings?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me about your relationship with your siblings growing up?
They were older, so I was the youngest, and it wasn't. They were. I don't think they were as anxious as me, but I might just have been pretty in my own head and not really noticing them. But they're pretty successful. They kind of went and did their own things. It was 2 brothers, and they took care of me. Like, it was an Italian family. They took care of me, and they were like, the first one was the favorite. And my parents loved him, my dad loved him, and did everything with him. And then the second one just kind of did his own thing, and you know, boys will be boys.
Right.
And so they're both married and stuff. The first one's divorced, but got married again and has a couple kids and stuff. So they're kind of doing their own lives. But it was a good relationship. I had good relationships with them, but it was just kind of distant because I was the girl.
Right.
So
There's a gender difference there.
yeah. So it didn't really. I wasn't really involved in the reindeer games.
The reindeer game.
Yeah, like they're like their sports, them going and playing with their boys and stuff like that. Like I couldn't go and play with them because I was the girl, and you know, I had to stay home with mom.
Did you spend a lot of time at home?
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of friends in the neighborhood, so I just kind of stayed at home a lot. And like my mom would make me go outside, but I didn't have anything to do, so I just kind of sit on the porch and just kind of hang out, but or help her cook. So
Okay.
I learned to take care of a house.
That's a good skill to have.
Yeah, especially being a housewife. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
You didn't have any friends in the neighborhood?
not really, no.
What about at school?
I mean, I got made fun of, but like everybody gets made fun of, but it was just in general. Like I was so anxious all the time and like about school and stuff. Like I would, because it just bled over. Like I wasn't necessarily just anxious about school, but it bled into it where I was like, I'm gonna fail, like this is gonna suck, I'm gonna, you know, screw up. And I had some friends. I had some friends, so it wasn't bad, but it was school. Made it through high school and everything, no problem. And then married my sweetheart. And, you know, from there to now.
Right.
So.
Okay. So did you marry George right after high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right after high school.
Okay.
We both graduated, he got a job, and we got married, and he expressed that he would like me to be a housewife. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Because that's what my mom was.
Okay.
Clearly that was the path. So I just went and did the housewife thing, and it was good for a long time. And then with him not having a job, we're gonna have a whole lot more problems.
Right.
So.
Right. This counting behavior,
Mm-hmm.
was it present in high school?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. No, I don't think so. I mean, no, not like, I mean, you count, go to math class and stuff like that, but it wasn't like something bad would happen if I didn't. And it developed with the kids. As I kind of started to get older and stuff, I noticed with their ages and with how many, it had a prevalence to that. And so I had to start doing that with most everything to make sure they're okay. So it's
Right.
constant making sure.
Okay. Has anybody expressed concern about this?
My husband told me, but is it a concern when he tells you you're crazy?
Could be.
Like he says that it's not normal and that like it doesn't matter, and he says that it's a problem, and that's kind of why I came, because I have so much anxiety and stuff, and he said I should kind of get help for it.
So this seems to be putting a strain on your relationship with your husband.
Yeah. It's hard to say whether it's that and him in his heart condition, or if it's the heart condition and not so much, and him just being around and seeing it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know which came first or which is the more important, like which one is causing the problems, but it's just, it is, like there is a problem. He's getting on my nerves. He's frustrating me. I'm anxious all the time and he's not helping. And like, my parents gave us strict rules. We had to be certain places, we had to go to bed at a certain time, there was punishments. and all of that, and then I'm trying to do that with my kids, and he won't reinforce it, so that's frustrating because they don't listen to me anymore. So I'm just losing control of the household that I'm supposed to be taking care of according to him.
Right.
So
There's a big distance in your relationship right now.
hmm yeah, and like I said, when he tries to be affectionate or whatever, I pull away because I just don't feel it. I don't feel the affection. I don't feel like I'm close to him.
The intimacy is gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. And like I don't want it to go away. And like if it did, we'd stay together, obviously for the kids, because that's what you do. But
Right. So this has had an impact on your sex life as well.
yeah, we don't really anymore. And like it has to be at certain times because I don't want to have another kid really. Because of how much stress I'm facing, so it has to. We do the rhythm method,
Okay.
and I don't believe in birth control because
Give your religion.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we have to do it at certain times of the month, and he can only do certain things, and it can only and it's repetitive. So he does the same thing every time, and he can't really deviate from it. Otherwise, something bad will happen. Otherwise, I'll be pregnant, or so.
Besides getting pregnant, what other bad thing might happen?
I don't know. Just something bad, like. I'm not really sure. Because it's just a general.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah. But I don't think it'll necessarily affect the kids. It's just like the pregnancy things. That's why we do the rhythm method. That's why it's only certain times. So it's basically 2 times a month. Like
Okay.
for maybe a week total, roughly. And yeah, and like you can't really deviate from what the norm is. Otherwise.
What is the norm in your sex life?
Missionary.
Okay.
And him going until he finishes, and then sometimes I can, but I feel really bad about it.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't usually sometimes I can get myself to that point, but I don't like it often, and I feel guilty about it afterwards. So it doesn't happen too often. So it's mostly a marriage duty
Okay.
to please the husband.
So sex is about the husband.
Yeah,
Only about the husband.
it's a job. You know what I mean? Like it's just something that comes with being married.
Okay.
Is that I have to make him happy.
You make him happy.
Because I don't want it's dirty. It's not something I want to do. Because it's nothing that I'm not experienced in that area, and I don't want to be because it's not something that's like clean. So I don't want to be involved in it. But you have to. It's
Where did this idea that sex is dirty, where did that start?
Probably religion. Probably with my upbringing and stuff. That it's it's a wife's marriage duty to
Marital.
that's the word.
Yeah.
To have sex and for the husband and to have children, but I don't want any more kids, so
So, according to your religion, having sex for pleasure is not okay.
Yeah, it's not okay.
Okay.
And if we did outside of those certain times, I would get pregnant, and
You don't want to.
yeah, I don't want to because of the stress that I'm already feeling with the kids I have.
Does your husband want more kids?
I don't know. We haven't really talked about it. I don't think so because of how little he does with the 2 we have. But we don't really we haven't talked about it too
Okay.
much.
Alright. Is your husband Catholic?
Yeah, he wasn't raised as strictly as I was.
Okay.
And he was raised in an Italian family too, but again, they weren't as strict and militarized as mine. So he's a little more loose. Like I said, he doesn't really get the kids to do things ever, and frustration.
Well, there's a difference there in between the way you were raised and he was raised.
Yeah.
And now it's showing with the raising of your children.
Yeah, and like he used to be understanding about that stuff. He used to be like really like nice about it because he understood that how I was raised and how my parents kind of were with me and my siblings and stuff, and it was okay, but until recently. And I think it's because he's around more and kind of frustrated with his own stuff going on that he's just kind of like not as empathetic to me about my counting and my neuroses.
Yeah. It's a tough situation. So, I mean, you want him to work, and you want his help with the kids. He doesn't want to do that because he doesn't feel good physically. But at the same time, you think he's using this as an excuse not to do anything.
Yeah, it's a suspicion. Like I don't want to think that. I don't want to believe it because I'm married to him, you know. So I want my husband to be. I want my ideal husband to be like supportive and good and like not lazy of his own volition, you know. Like if he can, he can't. I understand that, but then there's then all the expectations for me to be taking care of the house and cleaning everything and taking care of the kids, but I can't take care of the kids if he's not involved, if he's not helping me to discipline them.
Right.
So,
well, parenting is a two-person job. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's just, and like, he didn't really help before when he wasn't really around, but like he did. He was like, he was an enforcer, like he didn't do that, and now he's just kind of like, whatever. And they're still young, so like, I'm trying to like, instill them with this sense before they get older and start going crazy with other things. So I want to make sure that they're like good people before that, and especially before communion. If we do that anymore, since the church is changing all of a sudden.
What are these changes with the church?
Just like they're not doing ceremonies in Latin anymore. Just being more inclusive in everything they do, and just kind of like relaxing. The changes that happened with the last vote, what they've been saying and stuff, like, you know, and all of that. And like I'm not like hostile towards like all the people that they're kind of including. It's just kind of like that's not what the Catholic Church is, and a church shouldn't bend for a population. You know, it should be what it is.
Yeah.
So I just don't think that it's it's not what I grew up with, and it's not what I believe in. So I just don't trust them anymore because they're just gonna keep making these changes, and
it sounds like you like structure in all areas of your life.
Yeah.
And you don't have that right now.
Yeah, it's very comforting. It's very like stable to have structure.
Predictable.
Yeah. So it's just I don't like the changes, and that sounds, you know, terrible, but it's true. Like it's just so much, and it's not okay. It's just too much.
Well, having things be structured and predictable, that's not asking for too much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I too much change going on all at once, I think. Cause like the church thing has been going on for a while. I know that it's just kind of becoming more and more aggravating for me to watch it. So I think that's kind of pushing me away from that and just, you know, everything else.
All right. Well, I want to kind of change the subject here, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
I want to go back to the counting, the preventing your children from being harmed. Do your children, I forget if you said, do your children notice that you do this?
It's possible because they go to the store with me and stuff, but I don't know because I'm not like going and counting out loud. I'm not like
Okay.
1, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5. You know, I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of doing it in my head and figuring it out and stuff. So it's sort of like just going through the grocery list in your head, but add some counting to it.
Okay.
And so I don't. If they do notice, I don't know. I don't think they know though. I don't think they
Does it
notice.
matter if they pick the first or second item?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So I kind of keep them close to the cart. I don't like them to pick because then it's their fault, and I don't want them to get hurt because they don't know.
If they pick up the first or second item, you give it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then if there's more items, I'll pick one of the other ones and just tell them, oh no, that one was broken or something.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want them to feel bad, but they're just trying to help.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to get hurt because I don't want to like have to, because they're too young to explain like this happens if, so I don't.
Tell me about your typical day.
I get up, I take care of the kids if it's a weekday, I take them to school, I come home, I clean, I try and clean everything, but the house is fairly big, so there's so much to do. And nowadays the husband's around, and so he gets up around noon and starts getting breakfast and watching TV and just kind of sitting around. So I'm like working around him and trying to vacuum and like dealing with him, like turning the TV up while I'm vacuuming and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, am I bothering you? Okay, and then, cause like laundry, dishes, cause the dishes are always piling up because we have so many people in the house. And he doesn't do them. Grocery shopping probably once or twice a week, and I try to get that done before the kids get out of school, but sometimes we have to do it on the weekends, especially if George wants something. Because he'll be like, oh, I'm in the mood for spaghetti. And I'm like, okay, we don't have spaghetti. We have cold cuts and stuff. We can make sandwiches. And he's like, oh, I'm in the mood for spaghetti. And then he moves until I get home and make spaghetti. So I have to go to the store and get me spaghetti. So the kids have to go with me because he won't watch them. I start prepping dinner too during the day because Italian. That's what I do. I make dinner. So I'll start working on that, and then just general house cleaning and stuff until the kids get done. And then I go and pick them up, bring them home. They start doing homework or just playing around the house because I can't make them do their homework. Because George doesn't back me up on that. And then dinner, I try to clean them, but then I also have to get the kids to bed before, because they have to get so many hours of sleep before they have school in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I go to bed, and if it's during that period of the month, then we'll have marital relations, but if not, then just go to bed.
Okay. Who initiates the marital relations?
Him, always. Always, because I'm not interested in any of that. I'm not interested in doing it. So if he wants to, then I will, but.
Okay. It sounds like things are somewhat structured until the kids get off school,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's a little chaotic.
Yeah. Well, like, George doesn't do anything, so he just sits around, so I just have to kind of vacuum around him. Like, he's just another piece of furniture, so it's not really anything I have to interact with.
He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, no. Like, he'll move around the house and bathroom, general things. Sometimes he'll make the bed, but, like, he's not, like, entirely lazy. It's just kind of like, I think he's, like, nervous about having another heart attack, or either nervous about it or making it an excuse, either way. I don't know. But it's just, like, so I just kind of have to move around him and do my usual routine of cleaning the house, and that changes. So it's not like I'm, like, strictly routine every day, but it's general. Like, I'll be like, oh, I feel like doing laundry in the morning and then working on something else later, or doing the dishes later, or I feel like doing the dishes now, or... So it changes day to day, but it's just, general house cleaning and stuff, and I don't always get it done, which is frustrating, because then it just means I have more work the next day.
Yeah.
Because sometimes laundry takes longer than I think it should, or there's so many more dishes than I thought it would.
Yeah.
There was, or the dishwasher breaks, something like that. Like, something just breaks, and I have to take care of that.
Is there, besides the counting, is there anything else that you can do, or that you do, or have done, to relieve the anxiety that you're feeling?
I constantly check on my kids.
Constantly checking on them?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like, I'll call the school, because they'll just, like, at a certain point in the day, I'll just become convinced that my son broke his arm.
That specific.
Something like that. Like, I'll just be like, okay, he broke his arm. Something like that. Or or my daughter hit her head, or something like that. Somebody, she's 4, so it's one of her friends bit her, something like that. Like it'll just be something like that. So I'll call the school, and sometimes I call them multiple times and ask, and they're always like, no, he's fine, it's okay, like nothing's wrong. And then he'll come home, and I'm surprised that he's fine. Which, like, and I'm not like, oh my god, it's just kind of like, I was pretty sure, all right.
There was a gut intuitive feeling.
Yeah, you're supposed to trust your gut. So, like, especially with your kids, because, like, they're part of you, you know, like, you know, had them, so, you know, you're like, it's mom's instinct to know that stuff. So, it's interesting to be wrong. And that doesn't happen too often, it's just, but it's whenever they're not in my sight. Like, when they're not in the house or anything. Because when they're in the house, I can go and check on them if I ever think that, like that. But, yeah, so it's just, I'll do that. And the school knows me by name now because I do it, but it's not, like, if they're outside, I can generally go and find them. So if they're around the house, it's not as bad because I can go and be like, touch base, make sure they're okay, and then move on, like, make sure nothing happened to them. But when they're at school and stuff, that'll happen. And that'll cut into the time I take to do stuff around the house because I have to call and make sure, and then call and make sure, because then I think, you know, not necessarily that they're lying to me, but like.
But you don't believe them.
Yeah, no, because like, I don't know. I don't think, like, because you hear about like schools kind of covering themselves to make sure they're not sued or whatever, but I don't think that's the case. It's just I don't trust that they know, because they might not know, because some people break their arms and they don't know. People don't know that they broke their arm or something, but.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have you thought about switching their schools?
I mean, no, it's not necessarily the school that bothers me. It's just any time they're, so if they're doing their extracurriculars, if my son's out doing soccer, I'm sure something happened. Or it's just when I can't watch them. I kind of start, I'll get these thoughts every once in a while, and it's distracting, so I can't focus on anything else, and I have to kind of go and I have to, like how I kind of relieve that worry is to call and make sure, but then it only helps for a little bit. So.
And it definitely doesn't leave room for you to go and socialize with any of the other mothers.
Yeah, no, I don't really get out too much, so.
And because you and your husband aren't on great terms, there's no date nights, I take it.
Oh, no. We barely talk, really, anymore. Like, even though he's home most of the time, I don't really see, like, I don't see him. I see him all the time. I don't talk to him, really, unless I'm like, move.
Yeah.
You're in my way. And, like, he'll try and, like, it's not, he's distracted with the TV all the time, but then when he, like, takes a break from the TV and is just kind of wandering around, I'll be like, oh, hey, and, like, try and, like, be all, like, cuddly and stuff, and I'm just kind of like, no, I have things to do, I don't have time for this, it's not, you know, and it's just be, like, it's sort of true, and it's also an excuse, because I'm just kind of, like, I'm so frustrated and annoyed, it's kind of built resentment, and I don't want to be close to him, so it's just.
But in the past, you did want to be close to him.
Yeah. We were high school sweethearts. Like, I loved him. He was great. He was hilarious. He was so much fun to be around, and like we would go and do stuff, and it was a lot of fun. And that's why I wanted to marry him, because you know you're supposed to marry your best friend. And now that he's like, even when he was at work, like doing the night shift and stuff, that was hard because we barely got to see each other. But it was still like there was a closeness, and I'm not gonna say we didn't fight. Because we fought frequently, but it was pretty normal. Like I fought less than my parents did, I think, because like they wouldn't fight in front of us, but it was a small house, so you could hear it. But like we definitely didn't fight as much as my parents did. So I think that's a good sign. But like we could work through it no matter what. Like there was always hurt feelings, but we could always kind of work through that, and it was fine. And then like even when he got in the manager position, when he got like started moving up, it was good. It was really good because like we had money, so that wasn't stressful. We were like gonna have the kids. The first one was coming around, and it was going well. Like it was all really good. And then I had the kid, and he started growing up, and I started getting more and more anxious that something was gonna happen to him because they're so small and fragile. They're so easily hurt because he would just like try and walk and fall over and start crying, and I was like, no, it would hurt me, so I didn't want anything bad to happen to him. So that progressed, and he was the same way for a long time. He didn't want our babies to be hurt by anything, and like even more protective of the daughter. And that was fine. It was just kind of like, after a while, especially when I started counting, he started being like judgmental about it. Like, and that hurt. That was annoying because I didn't want to be judged. Because I was protecting the children. He had his way, I had my way, and then he would kind of make fun of me about it. And now, especially since he's losing his job, I don't think he really has a leg to stand on to make fun of me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You said your parents fought a lot growing up.
Yeah. Like that was the thing, because when we were growing up, we were outside a lot, and I was on the porch. So I could hear them, and I think they thought I was out and stuff, so they wouldn't fight in front of us, they wouldn't do a lot of interacting in front of us, which probably wasn't the best, but, I guess I'm doing that to my kids too. But, yeah, they would fight in the house, and I'm not really sure what they fought about. It was probably like a lot of financial stuff, because we lived in a small house, and my dad couldn't really hold down a job, because, he had been in the military, and I don't know what he did in the military because we never really talked about it, but he had like anger about that, and he had a lot of like paranoia, so he couldn't, like, any job he tried to do, it was always law enforcement or something like that, and it would kind of trigger some stuff for him, and he would always like yell at somebody or get into a fight, so he didn't maintain the job really well, so they fought about that a lot, I think.
Did your father yell at you?
Yeah, brothers too. Like, not so much my older brother, my oldest, because he was, the firstborn. Yeah, he was the one that's gonna like keep the family name going, and the second one too. But he was more of backup. But they took care of all of us. They were good with all of us. It was just kind of like, yeah, he would yell at all of us for. And then when he came home, he was tired, so we kind of avoided him because he didn't want to like make him mad when he just got home because he was tired. He just gotten done with work and stuff, and usually he was aggravated with something, so we were just kind of like, okay, wait for Dad to eat and then ask him for something. But
sounds like you were tiptoeing on eggshells.
Yeah, that was the case a lot of times. And I don't want you to think that he was like a terrible father, because he wasn't. He cared about us, and he made sure that we were okay, and he was very protective. Like he really cared about the first, my oldest brother. He really protected me because I was the daughter. Like I was, the egg. Like so I was, a favorite too. But it was just kind of, if anything, the middle child got shafted on that one. But he didn't. It wasn't bad for him. He just kind of got to do whatever he wanted. But yeah, it wasn't. He wasn't abusive or anything to us. I don't really know about Mom, but that's kind of just because when you're older and you look back on stuff and you're like, that's not quite right. This could be something else. Now that I kind of know about the world, that might be the case with him and my mom, but I don't know for a fact, so I don't know. But
you have some kind of evidence to suggest that might have happened?
Yeah, just the way he would yell at her and stuff, and when we would come home, like, sometimes you could tell Mom had been crying, stuff like that, or like, things had been thrown. And I don't know, and that's the thing, I don't know if it was my dad or my mom, because my mom's Italian, so things get thrown, like we had spoons thrown at us when we were disobeying, so I don't know who might have done that, but it wasn't it wasn't like we weren't scared all the time. It wasn't like we were terrified or anything like you see on the news with, these abusive families and stuff. It wasn't like that. It was just, we're just like, it's an Italian family. We're loud. We like fight and stuff, but it's not like terrible. We weren't like abused. Like my dad never touched us, so.
You made a statement earlier that you have the same type of relationship with your husband right now that your parents did when you were growing up.
Yeah, that just kind of hit me. Because like I kind of knew, and in a way that was sort of the goal, because you want to have the relationship your parents had in general. Like if you think they had a good relationship, you want that relationship. but I can kind of see where that kind of fails me. And I can see, I don't know, it's kind of becoming clearer how my parents kind of got to the place they're at with how me and my husband are going. So I can kind of see why my mom might have been frustrated or yelled at him all the time. And I don't want to yell at him because I don't know what's going to stress him out too much. So I'm not going to yell at him and tell him to do stuff. And like I said, I don't want him to be like cleaning out the gutters and just die, because then that's my fault, and then he's dead. But, so I guess it's just easiest to just not interact with him. And that's probably not the best for the kids to see that we're not like a team. Even though it's kind of his fault, because I'm like, okay, don't do that, and I'm like, George, and he's like, let them do what they're doing. So they don't listen to me because they just have to go to Dad, and Dad counteracts whatever I said. So he's not helping. So he's making us less and less, and like I feel like he's calling me to pull away, because then it's like it's just easier if I don't even like try to go to him, because he's just gonna undermine me.
Well, it's hard to provide your kids with stability when there's not unity within the marriage.
Yeah. That's good when you use that. I like that. So yeah, it's just frustrating.
And you've talked to your husband about these frustrations you have?
A little bit, kind of. It's just, it's hard, and like I said, it's probably just easier not to. I tried to talk to him about this kind of stuff, but it usually kind of just turns into a fight, and then he kind of just brings up the accounting thing, and then we just kind of fight about that, because it's all connected, I guess, for him. That it's all my anxieties, and they're all unfounded, and they're insane. So, and he just starts calling me crazy, and that makes me mad, because that's like, it's gotten to the point where that just is, that he says that and I'm done. So I just start shouting. And we don't do it when the kids are home, obviously. Like when the kids come home, we just kind of
separate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I've just stopped interacting with him, essentially, and we don't really talk too much.
It's kind of sad.
A little bit, because we used to be best friends, and we used to talk all the time and just talk about everything, like dreams, like goals, like our families and stuff. Like he knew how my family was, and he understood, but now we don't really talk about any of that stuff anymore. So it feels like because I could get out a lot of stress, especially when I was still living with my parents when we were dating. I could just tell him things, be okay, and like just be fine. But now that it's like we don't talk anymore, it's building up, and I have no one to talk to. That's why I came here, to get out some of the stress.
You feel like you've been able to get out some stress?
A little bit. Like I feel like I'm not used to it anymore, so it's still like, it's just kind of like it feels like I'm kind of reserving some for later, just in case I need it. So I think once I start getting used to being able to talk more about this stuff, I can get more of the stress out and be more not crazy throughout the day.
So your husband calls you crazy?
Yes.
In reference to the counting thing?
Yeah.
And you shut down?
Pretty much. Like, it's just kind of, I don't, do you ever have, like, a thing, like, it's just kind of like, you fight about something over and over and over with your significant other or whatever, you just kind of, like, it's a recurring fight, and no matter what, you guys can't break it. So you're like, okay, this is still a problem, I'm going to go about it a different way. You fight about it the same way. Like, you basically just fall into the same routine about fighting about this thing, and it's become, like, the word crazy just becomes so emotionally charged that whenever it just gets to that point of, like, you're not helping. Well, you're not helping either. You're, acting like everything's kind of chaotic and everything's going to hell. And I'm like, well, maybe it is, and you're just not being involved. And he's like, well, you're being crazy. And then I'm just done. I'm just like, you're not even paying attention to what I'm saying. You're just going for me being crazy. And then I just, and I don't like shouting, but sometimes I feel like it's the only way he can hear me. But then he just starts shouting, and nothing goes anywhere, and then we have to separate to kind of calm down.
You don't feel heard in your marriage?
Yeah. Like, I don't feel like I have my partner anymore.
Is there any type of compromise?
What, with him?
Mm-hmm.
No. No, he just goes and sits down and watches TV until he cools off, and I just go and do laundry or something. Like, I just go and do something like kind of monotonous to kind of think about everything and like calm down and realize when I kind of lost control of the conversation. And like I always tell myself like, okay, next time I won't get mad, or next time we won't talk about, like I won't say this thing that made him get angry and call me crazy, but then it goes out the window when we start fighting. So it doesn't matter, but yeah, it's over and over and over. And like I hate reoccurring fights. Like I hate the ones that you just do over and over, and it sucks.
Well, they're really annoying.
Yeah, and I always want to break out of that same cycle, but you always just fall back into it, and it's.
You said that your parents, you think they stayed together for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still together?
They're dead. They died a while back because, like, I think my mom was heart related because neither of them are the healthiest. They eat bread and marinara sauce every day, so they weren't like on a good diet or anything. But yeah, my mom died of a heart disease, and then my dad just died. Like I think one of his organs failed, but I never really got a good full story on it because my oldest brother was in charge of all of that. So, and that was a couple years ago, so I kind of worked through all that already, where it was just kind of like, okay. But they stayed together until the end.
Okay.
So I think for them, for us, meant till death do them part, you know, like like they had to stay together for their adult kids too, because no matter what, we were still their kids, and it would affect us if they got divorced, or they might have started working through it. I don't know. I kind of moved away, and I tried to visit and stuff, but I don't really.
So you said you've worked through this already.
Yeah, like I was inconsolable when it first happened with either of them, because it was they were about a year apart, so it was tough because I do miss them, and I did talk to my mom a lot especially when I moved away, because I was terrified of moving away. Like that was so scary because like I would, and like changing my life and everything, and because it was just like a state away, but it was far enough. Cause I was used to seeing my mom every day, but like I still talked to her. I called her and stuff, and we would talk about everything. So now not having her is kind of tough. So I just kind of take it day to day, and I mostly focus on my house because there's so much stress right now that like it doesn't really. And that was like they died over 5 or 6 years ago now, so it's not like I kind of worked through all that, and I helped with the funeral arrangements and stuff, because my older brother couldn't do all of it by himself because he had his own family and divorce to deal with, so I was helping out. So that was kind of cathartic to kind of go over the will and everything, kind of figure everything out. So
Did you see a therapist to help you get through the bereavement period?
no, because I didn't want to be crazy. I didn't want to look crazy or anything, because you see a therapist, you're kind of nutty. Or like there's something wrong with you, but
well, that's not always.
That's not. I want to say that's not the case, but I'm here because I'm so anxious and I can't handle that. But it's not like I didn't see anybody, but at that point I could talk to my husband.
Right.
So I could.
But at this point you cannot.
Yeah, no. If it had happened now, I don't know. I'd probably see a therapist, because I don't know if I could have handled everything that's happening right now, including a parent death. Because like I know how I was then, and like I got when my dad died, at least me and my brothers got together and we got drunk, but it was like a slow drinking night, and we were just talking about stories and everything about him and stuff, and just like all the funny things and all like the sad things and just everything about his life, and that was pretty helpful, because it let us all kind of, especially when they got drunker, they started kind of breaking down. I think that let them kind of vent a little bit, so that was good, and that helped a lot. With my mom, we made a big meal. We just made a lot of food and like all the stuff she used to make. Yeah, and like had all the families eat there and eat with us and stuff, and we told stories obviously, but
it sounds really nice.
It was really nice. I think it was what they would have wanted. My dad for us to drink and my mom for us to make food. I think that would have made them happy.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was good.
So drinking is a recreational thing for you.
Yeah, because we drink wine for dinner and stuff. So when I was 15, 16, like communion, you drink some wine.
Right.
And then 15 or so, like my parents would let us drink wine for dinner. It was gross. I didn't like it at first. And then after a while, I got used to it, so that made it easier. But yeah, it's just something that you always have wine in the house.
You and your husband drink wine for dinner.
Yeah. I think he mostly drinks beers because he doesn't really like wine, which I kind of get, but so I'll have like a glass or something like that for dinner. But just like if I got everything done, like especially, but or midday. But that's just especially stressful days. But it's not really like that's not something I do often enough because usually I have to pick up the kids, and that's not. I'm already worried about them having a broken arm. I'm not gonna like do anything else.
Put them at more risk.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever? You've just mentioned the death of your father due to organ failure, and then the death of your not the death of your husband. But,
No.
The diagnosis of your husband with a heart problem.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been hospitalized for any medical issues?
No, I mean, I've never, no, not like, I was constipated a lot as a kid because there was so much cheese in the house, but other than that, like, I had to see a doctor to kind of get medication and stuff, but, nothing medical, nothing, like, seriously wrong or anything yet. Especially with how both my parents died, I should probably kind of get checked frequently. But no, just like, and I was never really like hurt or injured as a child because I always sat on the porch. Like I wasn't really doing the dangerous things my brothers did, like climbing trees. So
okay, so you were reserved.
Yeah, just kind of hung out and helped around the house and played in the yard.
Well, you mentioned at the beginning of this session. You didn't mention it, you stated it, that the reason you're here is due to your anxiety, and your main coping skill for this anxiety is the counting. I want to kind of get back around to that subject.
Okay.
The counting, just so that I'm clear, I'm going to restate some things to you so that I'm clear. So that I know I have an understanding.
Yeah. And
that I've gathered this information correctly. The counting mostly happens at the grocery store. Mostly,
not singularly though, like it happens elsewhere.
Can you kind of tell me the other places that it happens?
Like when I go to their school functions, the doors, counting steps. I'll have to skip the first and second, and then the fourth and sixth.
By skip, do you mean?
I have to stop, like walk,
jump over?
jump over them. I have to pass them.
Are your kids allowed to?
I can't really stop them.
Right.
And nothing bad seems to happen necessarily when they do it, so I just kind of let them do that. It's not the same with the grocery store, because I can just kind of be like, I can take it out of their hands. They're small, but I can, they just go up and down the steps, and it seems okay. So.
Okay.
Like when the washing machine breaks and I have to go to the laundromat, I'll have to pass the first two, maybe the third. If that one's full, I can't do the fourth or the sixth, and then in between that.
So this is an all-day thing.
Yeah.
Are there behaviors are there counting behaviors you do in the house?
Yeah, kind of with the food in the house because that I line it up.
Okay.
And stuff, because, we generally get more than one thing, so like eggs, sodas that we have in the fridge, I can't, I'll have to count them and do it, and sometimes if I catch my husband just taking the first one, I'll get really anxious and angry, and sometimes that'll start a fight. And I recognize that it sounds crazy because I'm yelling at him about taking the first soda can, and he's like, what? And I have to like tell him how he's taking the first soda can, and that's gonna hurt our first child. And the way he looks at me, I'm like, okay, something about this isn't making sense. to him. So I kind of see where that is, but it's also, even if it's crazy, it's still valid, you know, like, I can't really think of an example.
That's okay.
But you know what I mean, like, it's still, like, it matters. The chair I said it matters, so I've gotten a bunch of chairs, so I can kind of sit in the third or the fifth one.
Okay.
Stuff like that. I can't really think of other things.
That's okay.
But yeah, no, I think there's probably others, but I can't think of others around the house, because like for the most part we only have like a handful of things and it doesn't count towards that, so.
So this behavior seems to take up a lot of time during your day.
Yeah, it takes up a good amount of time. A couple of hours probably, like cumulatively, depending on if I go to the grocery store, because that takes a good bit.
What if there was a way that you didn't have to do these behaviors?
That'd be great.
Yeah?
If I didn't have to like worry about that to like make sure my kids were okay, that'd be so like stress relieving. It'd be like, oh, there's wolves outside the house. I can't let the kids go outside, but if the wolves weren't there, then I wouldn't have to worry about it. It'd be like that. It'd be so much less stress. That'd be great, but I can't really see a way to kind of get around that, because like it happens where what I do affects what happens to the kids, so.
Okay. Again, I'm just restating some things to be clear that I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And this behavior, the counting and the lining up of things and the calling and checking on them, years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this was around the same time that your parents died.
Yeah.
Did you notice any anxiety start?
I mean,
More significant anxiety
Yeah.
than the anxiety already present.
I mean, there's anxiety with having to do with the funeral arrangements, but not excessive, not
Okay.
really. I think after they were kind of put laid to rest, yeah. After that, I started getting more anxious, just in general. Like I was just day to day, I was feeling anxiety, and I was then like at that point, like it was 6 months later that I think I got pregnant.
Okay.
So it was fairly close, but I was anxious after I think Dad went. I was just generally anxious throughout the day, and it was just kind of like a little bit of paranoia, kind of just that something wasn't right, and then got pregnant, and then it kind of started to develop a little bit more, and then when my first child was born.
And the paranoia is only that something's not right, something's
Yeah,
never wrong.
yeah. It wasn't like somebody's following me or anything. It
Okay.
wasn't like anything like that. It was just kind of something. Like something didn't feel right, and that made you it makes you anxious, and then you're like, okay, why is something not right? And you start getting paranoid.
It's like that
Yeah.
feeling that you've forgotten something but you don't know what it is.
Yeah. So.
Okay. We have come to the end of our session.
Okay.
And I think we've covered a lot today, but
Mhm.
there's a lot more that we still need to talk about.
Okay.
And I think that the more that you come and the more that we talk,
Mhm.
the more I'll be able to try to guide you through this anxious period in your life.
Okay. All right.
And
I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Hopefully what we can eventually build towards is the development of some good coping skills. Because these behaviors, these counting behaviors, they are interfering with a lot of your daily activities.
Yeah.
And so if we can come up with a way to mediate these behaviors, if you're open to that,
Yes.
Then
Figuring another way. Yeah.
we may be able to keep your children safe,
Mhm.
and also help you get rid of some of that anxiety that's so debilitating.
Okay.
And in addition to that, work on some communication and some relationship building exercises that maybe can help you with your husband.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. If you have any problems in between now and our next session, you can always call.
Mhm.
And then just see the receptionist on the way out. She'll give you an appointment reminder card.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you so much.
It was so good talking to you today.
You too. Thank you.